Welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. And today with me, I have Lance, so I'm going to let Lance take it away. And Lance, I'm going to let you explain to my fans what you actually do.
Alrighty, well, sounds great, Wynn. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be on the show. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. So basically, my whole life, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I did a lot of starting ups and self-employment growing up, but my major one that I first started was at the age of 19. It was D&L woodworking, and I made and sold interior farmhouse tables across the state of Michigan, which is where I'm from. And I did that for about 2 summers, and then following that, I started up my own company called BaseX with a college friend, and it was a social media managing business. And those both had gone really well. But to me, to be an entrepreneur, to me, I think it's more than just making a sale. It's building a relationship. And a big thing for me is I wanted to help out the community. So an important piece to my life is my faith. So ever since I was 15, I had prayed to the Lord for this idea that I would be able to serve others and be able to start a business with it. Well, you've actually caught me at an interesting time because I am launching a business this October 16th. It is called Peace of Mind. And what it is it is a medical advocate service. So these medical advocates are anywhere from RNs to those pursuing PAs and have their bachelor's degree. And what they do is they accompany the elderly to their appointments. So they provide the transportation to and from appointments. They sit in on the appointments, record what goes on, and then they put it on file that's easily accessible to other family members, because the main thing is a lot of adult children are out of state, or they're in the sandwich generation where they're working to try and take care of their kids, but also take care of their parents, so they can't find time off work. So these medical advocates provide that service to be able to keep the adult children informed on what's going on in these appointments. And then they also offer the capability of picking up prescriptions as well. So kind of hearing this, you may think there are similar services out there already that do that, which there is, and that is within the assisted living homes. But those who are living in assisted living right now is the generation that saved a lot of their money. With the baby boom generation coming up, which according to the U.S. Census, they showed that by the year 2029, 1 in every 5 U.S. citizens is going to be 65 or older. These baby boomers weren't known for saving their money. And a study done by the Institution of the Retirement Industry showed that 55% of baby boomers have retirement saving funds. 45% of those only have $100,000 or less. Well, you look at assisted living costs, the upfront fee usually is anywhere from $80,000 to $100,000 upfront, on top of a monthly fee that ranges anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000. And here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, it is $3,500 a month. So we're kind of directing our service towards those of independent living and in-home care. So we want to offer that additional piece to those who can't afford assisted living but can still utilize the similar services. So
I'm sorry, I was muting my mic for a coughing attack, guys. But I find that very interesting, Lance, because I don't know if you know my story. I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy back in '87. And so I've been disabled all my life, and I've been using the system all my life, and I've been fighting with the system all my life, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I'm actually in the process of getting my journalism degree and fighting that one to the mill. And
Oh, awesome.
so I am curious to ask you, how is this system going to work? I mean, the baby boom generation obviously is not going to be using apps. I mean, my dad is a baby boomer, and he won't dare get a smartphone. So how is this system going to work?
Yeah. So basically the adult child or the elderly will call up to schedule their own personable advocate. So the way the system will be laid out is we will assign an advocate to the elderly patient, and if the first meeting goes well, they connected because our main emphasis is the personable aspect. That will be their medical advocate throughout their entire journey for as long as they want the service. So basically how this is done is we've actually partnered with an app development team called Care Convene. So these medical advocates actually have company iPads that they're able to bring into the appointments, and the elderly person may not have the smartphone, but majority of the adult children do. So we would be able to forward that information and share that within the app.
Well, it's very interesting how you say that. But I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and I won't call anyone out in the comment. But I am having an issue, believe it or not, inside my school. And my disabled case manager actually got switched on me, and the one I'm dealing with now is not making my team very happy. She's not making me very happy. And so I'm in the midst of switching disabled case managers. But I want to know if a situation could happen to you. Parent, elderly person may not be happy with a patient advocate, or that child of that parent may not be happy with that patient advocate. And so what do we do in that situation?
Yep, so in that situation, so what we do is we have our medical advocates call us once the appointment is finished, letting us know how it went. But we also do a follow-up email to our client, letting them know how it went, was there anything that could have been worked on, and so they kind of give us the thoughts back. And if there was any type of problem throughout that process and the connection wasn't there and something wrong happened, which we obviously hope doesn't happen, but, you know, in real life scenarios, these things do come up, we would offer them the ability to have 10% off on their next usage, ask them, you know, what went wrong and like how we can fix it. And we would go from there and kind of listen to what they're searching for and then try and fit their needs with the advocate that is what they are searching for.
And
the biggest thing,
what if the elderly has a disability on top of being elderly, like CP? Hello? Ever think of that?
Yeah, so if they have a disability, so the cool thing about the app that we will be using is we don't necessarily even need to go to these doctor appointments. The app offers telehealth communication. So what that is we would send a medical advocate over to that elderly person, and we could actually do a Skype call with the doctor right from there.
But most doctors, due to HIPAA, don't use Skype. So why are you now using Skype if it's against HIPAA laws? It's against the Patient Privacy Act.
Yeah, so the app that we use, so they have done all the legalizations through HIPAA compliant laws and so forth, and the ability to share information. So I'll give you just a quick example. So let's just say I sprained my ankle or something. I can use the app. I can take a picture of what happened, and then I can look at doctors within my area to send that information to, because in order to have a doctor in the app, Care Convene and that doctor have to have an agreement. And then from there, the doctor can look it over, give his expertise advice, but he can also have the capability of offering a Skype call if that client chooses to do so. And that is all HIPAA compliant.
That is all HIPAA compliant. So, now, how successful do you think this app is going to be?
So the app and the service together, I think it will be very successful. I think it'll take some time to grow. These things don't happen overnight, but I did about 100 plus interviews before where I am today, and ran it across doctors, people in the medical field, businessmen, so forth, and I've gotten nothing but good feedback, and they have really backed it up. And I've searched for those who give unbiased feedback, and they say, you know, Lance, this right here is a need. This is something, especially being in the sandwich generation, I wish I would have had this during that phase of my life. And just with the way the economy is moving and so forth, I think it's going to be able to cut down on costs, but also help a lot of people as well.
Well, I hope that is successful, and God knows I will be using the app to with my doctor now. Now, that being said, if a doctor wants to join, how can they do that?
Yep, so as of right now, they would reach out to careconvene.com, and I would say just shoot them an email expressing their interest and wanting to sign up with the app. It doesn't take too long, and the team of those working for Care Convene can set that up after the initial email, and then I'm sure a phone call will proceed and they'll get that going for them.
Yeah. And now, is this app going to be on Android or on iOS or both? Please say both.
Yeah, so as of right now, I know 100% sure it is on the App Store, but I believe you can get it on Android as well.
Of course of course it's on the App Store, and of course we're working on Android. Yippee
Yeah.
because Android is much, much, much cheaper for everyone, including the disabled and including the elderly. Although Apple's done a pretty good job with this sort of technology, Android is slowly but surely catching up. And so, Lance, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, so one of my questions I have for you is, how did you figure out your calling was to do podcasting?
How did I figure out my calling was to do podcasting? Well, I wrote a book at age 23, and this podcast, which is sadly coming to an end, believe it or not, it's coming to an end in the next couple of weeks, because as I did a little bit of soul searching, you guys, basically I was told flat out that I need to pull my life together and focus on my journalism degree, give that my full attention. And so what I've decided to do is keep this podcast going one day a week, and then I will quit with the interviews at least until January of 2019, and that's my last. It's actually going to be January of 2020. You guys won't hear interviews until then, because then I'll be a fashion journalist. So I can go back stronger than ever to this podcast.
Exactly, yeah. And it sounds like you have a good plan for it, and that's definitely exciting with the journalism and the fact that you wrote your first book at 23. That's very impressive.
Well, thank you. And do you have any other questions for me?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, who is your role model and why?
Who is my role model and why? And I would have to say, and Lance, you nicely texted me these questions, so I kind of got to that. Who is my role model and why? I would have to say my dad, because he is so supportive of this journalism degree, along with my stepmom. They're so supportive of this journalism degree, it's not even funny. So I would have to say my role model is my dad, and yes, and maybe in January 2020 we'll get him on the podcast. You guys, he's been putting up with this podcast since they had started, and so I now have to get him on the podcast and figure that one out.
Well, that's awesome that your parents have been very supportive with your dreams and vision for life, and, you know, that can definitely go a long way, and that would be exciting to get them on the podcast for sure.
Yeah, and yes, I'm thinking in January 2019 we kick off the reopening of Butterflies of Wisdom with him, and we just do it that way.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, I'm sure, well, definitely myself and others listening will be excited for that kickoff.
Yes, because people don't want this podcast to go away, but it's too much. It's too much in getting a journalism degree and trying to host a podcast. It's too much.
Yeah. Well, the fact that you definitely want to start it up again later on down the road, I think is great. And you've definitely offered a great platform where viewers can listen and so forth about other people's stories and kind of give them excitement and hope for their dreams and following that. So I think you've definitely done something great here, Wynn.
Yep. Well, I hope that this podcast will be still going strong. It will just be cut down to one day a week with no interviews, and it will be myself and the co-host, and I hope you guys fully support my decision, and I will keep you guys updated on my journalism degree, and then we'll see how it goes.
Fantastic.
And so do you have any more questions for me?
Yeah, I got one more on the looser end. What is one of the funniest stories that has happened to you?
Oh, God. You guys don't know the story, but doing the Kona Ironman, and the funny part was I thought I was going to fall off the bike because I had no capabilities to move whatsoever. I was trapped inside a little box, and I thought I was going to fall out on the side of the road, and these lava rocks land on me, but it didn't happen. And so that was a really funny experience, because here I am I was in my 20s when I did the Kona, and actually I was 23 years old. It was the year I went came out. And so my teammate proceeds to say that we're doing Kona Ironman and all this. And due to Ironman rules, we couldn't get a bike that I could pedal. So we hooked a pull cord up to her bike, and I have professional pictures of me in that pull cord. I thought with her body weight I was going to fall. I literally thought I was going to fall, and I thought I was going to be skinned up by lava rocks. And you guys don't know that story, because I never told that story up until today. And so that's the funny thing, doing Kona and falling out of your, and so those of you that don't know what the Kona Ironman is, the Kona Ironman is the biggest triathlon race in the world. It's Olympic distance, but the reason why they make such a big deal out of it is because of where it's placed. So when you're on the bike portion, you're staring at lava rocks for 8 hours. And here I am in a teensy-weensy space, and I don't have my cord's pretty strong, but my legs are weak as hell. And so I thought I was going to land up in the lava rocks.
Wow, that is quite the story, but I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're okay.
I am physically fine too. This is not funny, but they say at the Kona Ironman, and they say to every triathlete, if you get dizzy and get off track, come and find one of the support crew. Don't go searching, don't go walking in the lava rocks, because then we can't find you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I really appreciate your time today, Lance, and I'm sorry I was late. I just had one of those crazy days, but this podcast will go out today, and I hope you guys appreciate what I've done and the decision I've made. It wasn't an easy one, but I will let you know how my journalism degree goes, and you guys can catch me on Facebook Live every Tuesday and Thursday, and then we'll see how it goes, and then we'll see how it goes from there. And so after this week, no more interviews, but I'll still keep this podcast going once a week. I promise you guys that, and we'll see how it goes. Thanks to you guys.
Thank you so much, Wynn. Take care, everyone, and God bless.